welcome. It is Friday night, and this is Shutdown Happy Hour live here at your friendly neighborhood brewing company, Cedar Springs Brewing Company. And hopefully you guys have all called 616-696-BEER and gotten yourself a fresh growler to take on home and some grub. And you're joining us here this evening as we're kicking it off here during shutdown because gosh darn it, we all miss you guys. We haven't seen everybody in way too long. We have some friends with us tonight. We have Kasey Field, who is one of our front of the house leads.
Hello, hello.
Josh Atkinson is hanging out with us, and Josh was what 2018 Bartender of the Year, I think.
Yeah.
Revue
magazine,
he's kind of a big deal, you guys. Yeah, number 2, and we have Toby Bresnahan over here strumming the guitars for us. So Toby's also got a wee bit of Irish in him, along with some folk as well. I think the Puff the Magic Dragon's usually my favorite when you're here on Sundays. So, yeah. But anyway, this is kind of almost a Stammtisch. And we've talked about that a little bit. That Stammtisch in German is kind of the regulars table. We have our main Stammtisch, but anytime friends get together on a regular basis, that's referred to as a Stammtisch. So another gathering of friends, this one counts. But we appreciate everybody being here. And actually, Kasey, before I forget, you were a Wave Award winner. You were our first Wave Award winner, right, back in 2016?
I think I was a second. Sarah was a first, but
okay.
Second, either way, it's still an honor and a privilege.
Way above visitor expectation
Yes.
is the Wave Award, and that's by Experience GR, which is kind of the hospitality industry here in Grand Rapids.
Yes.
So. Anyway, it's great to have everybody here and we miss you too. Hopefully we're going to be sooner rather than later. Obviously Up North is open this weekend for Memorial Day weekend, and it's going to be beautiful weather all weekend long, and hopefully here in the next week or two we start opening up for us trolls downstate, because we'd like to get a few of you folks in here at our good social distancing over this time. So what are we all drinking this morning? Josh, what do you have?
OG for breakfast, the original Weiss beer. It's the reason I work here.
Well, quite honestly, Kuster Original is the reason that we built the darn brewery. Right. I fell in love with that beer when I was living in Germany, and you just can't get it over here. So we had to make it ourselves. And this is really an antique, classic style Weiss beer.
I had never tasted it before, and my mind was blown. You know, I was very used to the traditional Hefeweizen, much heavier on the banana clove esters, but then I had that maltier version of it, and yeah, here I am 5 years later.
Well, were you kind of an IPA guy when you first started working here?
Yeah, I mean, cut my teeth on Soul Sun, two-hearted kind of bells, and then Founders, Centennial, Pale Ales, things like that. And
great,
so this was
great beers, yeah.
Yeah, but this was just an eye-opening explosion of pleasure in my mouth, if you would say, just drinking that. It's fantastic. So yeah,
this is PG around here.
That's true. That's true. It's Friday night. It's 8 o'clock. You know,
that's right.
We can get a little loose, but no. It was just just different. Nothing that my palate had ever really tasted before.
Well, that's one of the things when we see a lot of our guests in here, and sometimes, we just really have a hard time getting good examples of classic German or Bavarian style beers in the United States. I mean, a lot of stuff that's imported. Beer is good when it's fresh, and sometimes it loses a little bit of that character, and there's really only a handful, and mainly small breweries, that make this style in Bavaria anymore. Even though the recipes go back 400 or 500 years, there's not really any good examples over here. And it's an eye-opening experience a lot of times when people try this for the first time. I mean, Kasey, I think you see that a lot on the floor with people trying beer and trying some of these flavors for the first time. I mean, how many times do you see somebody that says, I don't like beer, and we actually get them to try that one?
All the time. All the time. Everybody likes beer. You just have to find the right beer for you. The original Weiss beer is a good choice. It is a very good choice.
And you've got the Dunkelweizen?
Dunkelweizen.
The
That's my favorite beer, yes.
Awesome.
I love our Dunkelweizen.
A little bit more kind of a milk chocolate flavor as opposed to a little, woo, hey, don't spill the beer. That's one of the number one rules.
This guy.
But a little more of a milk chocolate flavor, and this has got a little bit more of a nutty flavor. I went straight lager today. I'm drinking the Kuster Pils, which is kind of it's a Bohemian style, if you will, light lager. And this is kind of the style that made the Czech Republic somewhat famous for brewing beer, and really is what American beers ended up becoming based on by the time we added some adjunct. Toby, what do you have over there?
I've got the Irish Ale.
Of course he does. This is 2 weeks in a row. I think Jim, who's a good friend of yours, joined us last week, and he was also drinking the air. In fact, Jimmy's been known sometimes if the air's not on tap, and in a couple of days that we may not have it because you guys drink too fast, and he'll walk in and
he'll walk right out again. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it's a great beer. I love all the beers, and I've had them all, but.
God bless you. God bless you. So, well, anyway, I think to start off a happy hour, we also cheers. Prost, the German word for Prost.
Sludge.
Kind of makes it worth showing up to work in the evenings, doesn't it?
Sure does.
So,
sure does.
Now, obviously, you guys are both still working as we're going on the shutdown. We kind of took volunteers amongst our staff as to who wanted to. Well, first of all, we had to vote whether we wanted to keep doing takeout and add delivery or not. And then we had to decide, who was willing and able to continue to participate. So as you're dealing, I guess, how's that been going? How's it been going for you?
It's been going really good. It's definitely been an adjustment, a huge adjustment. But customers have been happy. The staff's still happy. It's still good to see people that we're used to seeing every day on a daily basis.
Well, that's been kind of cool things. A lot of people that do call in when they call 696 Beer and order their chow, and they're like, who's working, who's going to deliver to me tonight, so that they can see some of those smiling faces. And it's a way for us to continue to see some of the people that we're missing the whole time. Have you had any feedback really?
I've had some really great feedback, especially with the canned beer. When we did the canned beer, that was great feedback. But still, with a lot of the specials we've been running, they've been going really great. The takeout has been really great. The delivery, people are really happy. We're able to deliver to them. I had a lady who works for Shipped, and she just didn't want to drive anywhere, and so I delivered to her.
She's been driving all day.
Right?
Yeah.
So I delivered to her, and she was really happy. She was able to get food at home without having to get up.
Right.
And I'm happy to do that any day that I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Yeah, obviously, if you go onto our website, which is csbrew.com, there's a little tab right on there, and you can hit Shutdown Menu. It is a somewhat limited menu. There's a couple of things that really are tough to execute for travel because we want to make sure it's good quality by the time it gets there. And you can also hit a link. There's the full beer menu there as well. All of those beers are available by growler, so we can bring them a little liquid nourishment at the same time. And we have every day on Facebook, we post our daily specials as well, so they're always creating up something new at the heart of the house to keep it interesting, as it were. And then Josh, when the weather's good.
Yeah, if you pull up, that'd be what? That's the north
side,
north
side of the building,
we have garage door windows, so if you've ever been inside the restaurant, you're familiar with those, very popular. But it's convenient, because we've got a terminal right there. If you walk up, we can put your order in, and we can safely hand you your food out there. You don't even have to come inside the building, So, just trying to do everything to keep it fun, but also stay within the CDC guidelines and keep it safe for everybody. And
well, it's kind of nice, really, for those that aren't familiar. We're right on the White Pine Trail, and we get a lot of people that, especially when the weather is nice, that hike and bike and roll their way on up the trail, and that's a cool way just to pop up. You can see the sign right from the trail. There's a big sign on the back of the building, and normally you can sit outside in the beer garden. We're getting there soon, I hope, but you can walk up to this north side of the building there, and Josh has got the window propped open. And
and we do, or we'll bring it out to you in the parking lot too. We're here for you guys, and we really appreciate all the support. So, whatever you guys are comfortable doing, we're trying to make it work.
Have you, from the orders that you're taking online, have you seen maybe preferences shift a little bit from what people were eating dining in versus what they're eating for takeout or delivery, or is there a difference between the two?
I haven't seen a huge shift. We still sell a lot of what we sold before. A lot of the schnitzels, a lot of the fried chickens, a lot of fish.
Pretzels.
Lots of pretzels.
Yeah. It's like a pizza box when you roll one of those pretzels out of here.
We've had a lot of people that are like, oh, did I order pizza? No, it's just our pretzel, but it's that big that it has to go into a pizza box. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to take it home.
It's one of the times the size matters, Kasey.
Size always matters. 8 o'clock on Friday night.
That's right. How about you, Josh? Have you seen any difference in maybe on the beer side, as you're mainly bartending? But
the OG, and even the original Weiss beer. Sorry, I'm so used to saying OG. But yeah, like Kasey mentioned with the cans, it's just one of those that's so unique. There's no other place in Grand Rapids that you can get a beer like that. So now I think people may probably taking it for granted a little bit, because that's pretty, well, exactly. And that's been pretty well distributed through local bars and things like that. You guys have done a great job with that. So people are used to being able to get it when they sit down and even have a meal down in Grand Rapids or up in Traverse. And now, unfortunately, they can't go anywhere else to get it. They've got to come here, So I would say, looking at that keg change sheet, that's probably still the number one seller.
Which is good, because that's the one we had the most of. We had a whole batch that was ready to go out to those bars and restaurants, and our distributor was unable to pick up when the crisis kind of happened. And with that can, we don't typically can. I mean, people ask about that. We've never really packaged before this, and we were able to borrow a canner from our friends at Micro Canner, because we had beer sitting in a fermenter that, how long is this thing going to go? If it goes a month, 2 months, I mean, the time early, we thought it was a couple weeks, but we were suspicious it was going to go a little longer. But, beer will spoil after a while, and this was a way to package some of that up and get it out, and it was awfully convenient to be able to have it, take it where you go. We're looking at, hopefully we'll be able to borrow another one here before too terribly long, and we have a couple more beers that are almost ready to sit up there. And those would be other styles, it wouldn't be original, but again, depending on how long this thing goes, if we don't want to dump the beer down the drain. That would be heartbreaking.
I volunteer as tribute to help. It's got to go somewhere.
Well, awesome. It's well, that's really cool. I think it's part of the reason we're doing this is really to kind of reconnect and re-engage with a lot of our guests and the people that we do miss. We're going to talk about some of those folks and maybe share a few stories here in a few minutes. But we did want to take a quick little pause here and visit with our friend Toby. You join us once in a while on Wednesday evenings, and sometimes during the summer on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as we're looking forward to events.
Yeah,
but
miss those
you're
days.
Regular on Sundays for that
I
Sunday
love
brunch. Yeah,
Kathy and I really miss Sunday brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but outdoors in the beer garden too. It's just
we miss having you. It's always
Thank
funny.
you.
I mean, Sunday is one of my favorite days just to kind of sit here and relax.
It's the
but
best.
I know occasionally I've missed a couple of days when you've been here, and I'll get people that'll text me and go, "Who is that guy?"
That's
So
very cool. Nice to hear.
Yeah, they really enjoy it. So
thanks.
let's take a few minutes then, Toby, and let's and maybe take a little musical break. And what do you have for us?
I have a tune. It's kind of a modern day Irish tune written by a red-haired Irishman. Go figure.
You had red hair once, didn't you?
No, I think I started turning like this in high school, actually. Yeah. So it's I think it's hereditary.
We all started turning in high school. It's just
right. This is by an Irish guy by the name of Ed Sheeran. So you might know him, and this is called Nancy Mulligan. Just thought it'd be a nice upbeat tune for you today. Sound
Sláinte.
good? Sláinte. Die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die die da da die da da die 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 da die da da die die da da die 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 da die da da die die da da die da da die da die. I was 24 years old when I met the woman I would call my own. 22 grandkids now growing old. House that your brother bought you on the summer day when I proposed. Made that wedding ring from dentist gold. I asked her father, but her daddy said no. You can marry my daughter. She and I went on the run. Don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love down by the Wexford border. She was Nancy Mulligan, I was William Sheeran. She took my name and then we were one down by the Wexford border. Die da diddle diddle die 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 da die da diddle die die diddle die da diddle die 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 da die da diddle die. Die da diddle doodle die 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 da die da diddle doodle die die diddle die da diddle doodle die 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 da die da diddle doodle die. Well, I met her at Guy's in the Second World War. She was working on the soldiers' ward. Never had I seen such beauty before. The moment that I saw her, Nancy was my yellow rose. We got married wearing borrowed clothes. We got 8 children now growing old. 5 sons and 3 daughters. She and I went on the run, don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love down by the Wexford border. She was Nancy Mulligan, I was William Sheeran. She took my name and then we were her one down by the Wexford border. Die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die die da da die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die. Die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die die da da die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die. From a snow white streak in her jet black hair, over 60 years I've been loving her. We sat by the fire in our old armchairs. Nancy, I adore ya. From a farm boy born near Belfast town, I never worried about the king and crown. I found my heart upon the southern ground. There's no difference, I assure ya. She and I went on the run, don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love down by the Wexford border. She was Nancy Mulligan, I was William Sheeran. She took my name and then we were one down by the Wexford border. Die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die die da da die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die. Die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die die da da die da 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 die 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 da die da 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 die.
Hey.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks very much.
That's how we keep
I
a
almost
Friday
teared
night
up.
rolling.
I almost teared up because that made me think about, I haven't been in a room where live music occurred in months. Wow. And for me, that's crazy, you know, like for guests and coworkers that know me, like live music is ingrained in my soul. And when you were playing that, I just thought about, man, everything that's been streamed or listened to on a record or Spotify, and I have not been in a room with someone playing an instrument. So thank you, Toby.
No, thank you, Josh.
Appreciate that.
I can relate to that as well. Thanks.
Yeah,
It's
for
cool.
you, you know, and this is nuts, you know.
Yeah,
but-
the whole thing. But I appreciate folks like you, and I know there are a lot of people are really itching to get back and
Really, we talk about restaurant folks being on the front line, as we were one of the first ones to get shut down, or hairdressers and salons and that sort of thing. But musicians, I mean, we don't think about that a lot, but for a lot of you guys that play regularly, I mean, you went from having a whole bunch of gigs to having no gigs.
True.
And not knowing when you will.
Yeah.
Almost right away. So.
Yeah, it's an unknown right now, but I think people are figuring it out. You know, like you guys, you're figuring it out, and I think it'll be back.
Well, that's kind of actually sitting here too, listening in, it almost reminds me a little bit of being an Iron in a session when you're sitting in the rooms and you're just listening to the guy that's right down from you at a good social distance, you know, playing and being able to enjoy a pint while you're at it.
Oh, absolutely. Got to have a pint while you're at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think it's coming back.
Keep the music lubricated. It sounds better that way.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that's what Friday nights are for. And and again, one of the things we miss about a lot of our Stammtisch guests, and I know we talked a little bit last week about some of our Monday night crew. I know I've been missing sitting down sometimes and having conversation with a lot of the Monday night crew, the Longs that typically come in, or Damien and Sarah that come in a lot on Monday, or Tim and Shannon sometimes getting here late. We have hundreds of people that we miss, and we're not going to think of all of them on the top of our heads. I don't know. Do you have anybody that you're like, oh, I can't wait to see?
You know, funny story in that you mentioned the Longs. So the Babcocks and the Longs, they always come in on Wednesday nights. They are my absolute favorite. Like, I get excited when they walk in the door. Well, the Babcocks called the other day, and they wanted to do a gift card for the Longs. It was Saturday. And I had a little bit extra free
Isn't
time.
that nice? We can all be friends.
I love it. They're so nice. So it was Saturday. I had a little extra free time, and I told Matt. Matt was the one that was like, "Well, can I get a gift card for Deb and Mike?" And I was like, I'll just bring it to their house. So I brought it over to them, and their grandson opened the door, but then Deb saw me, and she got so excited because she hasn't come to pick up any takeout. Mike has, and she was so excited to see me, and it just warmed my heart. Like, I love them. They're great people.
Well, that's that's one of the things with a local place like this. I mean, we're only 15 minutes north of Grand Rapids, but we have our own community here. There's about 3,500 citizens here in the city of Cedar Springs, and maybe there's a lot more than that in the outlying area in the school district or the postal code. But over the last 5 years, a lot of these people have just
Yes.
really become friends. And both of you guys are originals.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've been
We
here
are.
since the very beginning. Back when we did training back in the before we even opened.
Gosh.
And I remember you standing up in one of the very first introductory meetings and kind of you had, I think, a tiger hat
I
and
did
waving.
have a tiger hat on. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Are you the original Tiger King?
Oh gosh.
No animals were harmed in the
Yeah,
making
no,
of
I mean-
making of this.
I spent time in Florida, so I'd probably have to be like Carol Baskin, more like that, unfortunately. So, yeah.
You killed your husband?
Oh. I've yet to meet him, unfortunately. It's a lot harder during these times.
Well, like I know you've one of our Stammtisch members of the year. Every year we give an award to our Stammtisch member that that shows up more than anybody else. But Jeff was one of our winners previously,
Yeah.
and you had a chance to see him recently.
Yes.
From a distance.
From a very socially distance, but yeah, it's Jeff and Cindy Romanowski. Just fantastic people. They used to live right over off 17 or right by where that road is by Wesco, right there by
Yeah.
CTA, and now they live up in Big Rapids, unfortunately. So we don't get to see them as much, but other regulars, that still are here. Eric Laventure, one of them.
Mr. Soccer.
Oh, I love him. I love him to death. And you think about it, we've developed
And he's
friends.
got a Jeep.
Yeah, and we've developed friends though. We've worked with these people and seen these people for going on 5 years now. And they've really become friends to us. I communicate with them outside of work. Guys like Kevin Squires, and then Bob and Sharon. They're always at the bar. And then they have friends Tom, and I can't remember Tom's wife's name, and I feel terrible about that. But I know their son's name is also Josh, and he gets baked spatzelmac with extra crispy onions and a sangria every time he comes in, and just little things like that, that you kind of take for granted. And now we have that time that some of them we've seen doing takeout, and we can serve them that way, but we don't get to help them out, like
Right.
we usually do, and it's crazy. But a cool experience. Ben and Amanda, they've been kind of Tuesday regulars up until Amanda was pregnant during this, and I think she had her baby about 3-4 weeks ago now.
Right.
And they ordered takeout, and I got to go out and do curbside for them and just see the little newborn in the backseat of the car. Like, it just brought me so much joy and happiness. Like everyone's going through uncertain times, but
Right.
these two, they get to go through the most beautiful experience of life right now during this, so they've got that to keep them grounded. And just to even be able to peek in and see the little guy, it was awesome. So I'm grateful for the experiences.
Well, and you had just become a father when this opened. We opened.
Yeah,
so.
that was it. That all was kind of going. And this kind of provided my point of sanity during all that. It's
circle of life.
There's so much going on, and it's always been kind of my outlet from life.
Right.
Like we always talk about. No matter what goes on, you kind of check that at the door because we get to come here and have fun and
Right.
make this a fun experience for our guests.
Right.
And I think no matter what happens in life, we always still get to do that. And Kasey and I, we've been lucky enough to still get to do that through this. So,
Yes.
we appreciate it for sure.
And then I was actually thinking a little bit. I mean, Bill and Chris have been coming in quite a bit for takeout, so
Yeah.
we're getting to see those guys
Yes.
quite a bit as it is. But the other one that has popped in here, who I miss, is Dale and Elisa.
Yeah.
That he's still
Barkamas?
Barkamas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've
Yeah.
been. I mean, they usually come. They'll pick a day a week and they'll kind of spend an afternoon at the Stammtisch.
Yep.
But of course, he's coming in and getting
Yeah.
his growler to take home, and actually Hal and Karen are the same way.
Yeah.
Hal's been fighting cancer, unfortunately, so he's been going through chemo treatments. But they'll come in and get a growler and take it home, and of course, they don't do that in a session. They crack it and they'll split a little glass,
Yep.
and then they'll have a sip today and close it back up, and it's in the fridge, and so it takes them 3 or 4 days to get through it. But
Right.
and it's a way to continue to bring a little bit of normalcy while they're going through this thing. So, man, it makes you. It does.
It's emotional. It's a little bit emotional,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's good though. Like
we should pause for a moment. And
we
reflect.
should, and to Mark Kita too. Cheers,
Yes.
Mark.
So anyway, as we're looking here, we're getting hopefully closer and closer to the end of this thing as we start to emerge and keeping people safe and healthy. I also did want to highlight a couple of things that that we've got going on. I mean, it's a beautiful holiday weekend that we're having. The weather looks fantastic. So come and visit Josh at the Magic Window. But we've been participating in the Thank You Project, and if this is kind of a new program, and I think we've had it on our social media a couple times, but I don't know if people have necessarily seen it. And you can visit their website, which is at thankyoproj, PROJ.com. But this is what it is. It's kind of a dating service, if you will. It's pairing up local restaurants with frontline and first responders. So here in Cedar Springs, we've dedicated our program to Metron, which is a senior center here in town, and they've had some COVID infections, unfortunately. And then we were able to, through this program, and we were able to donate actually 45 meals through the support of MLive, and they were supported by Henry Fox Sales. We were able to get 45 boxed lunches, cool boxed lunches to their folks. But we also have Green Acres, which is a senior center here in town, and the Brook, which is another home that's just on the north side of town. And also our firefighters here, which is right across the street. We love all those guys.
Yes, we do.
So yeah, you can call anytime to 616-696-BEER, and it's a boxed lunch. Those are $11, and you can call in, and we just do them in groups of 10 and donate those. So if you call in and we just put your name on a list, and we can do it anonymously or want, you can dedicate it to the cause that you wish, or any of them. So we've done. We had about 93 meals, I think, so far that we've been able to do through this. I said we had 45 to Metron. We also had another 50 that have gone to Story Point, and then, which is in Rockford, our neighbors just a little bit to the south of us. But we'd love to just continue to build that up and be able to get meals out to those folks who are, they're really the ones that are dealing with this on a face-to-face basis every single day. We've got a few things that we've been working on here as well as we continue to open and update our procedures. The Restaurant Association has distributed an entire list of procedures that we need to follow, along with the CDC, and the state of Michigan, of course, has issued guidelines for this weekend up north, which includes distancing and limiting capacity, et cetera. We're hopefully going to be able to have some additional outdoor space, but we do have our beer garden that's already set up and gives a great place for people to sit down and enjoy a meal and a beverage as they're popping in off the stale. On some of our larger tables, one of the German things is really these large community tables.
Right.
And one of the magics of that to us, that we get to watch people make friends. I mean, a lot of the people we've already mentioned today at Stammtisch never knew each other before they started joining at the Stammtisch. And one of the German traditions is you sit down with people that you don't know, and hopefully by the end of your meal or your beverage, you've made a new friend.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we got to be a little bit careful with that coming up. So we'll have some table dividers coming in where we'll be able to set those on the table and keep people separate as we start to open and look towards what hopefully is an opening after the 28th of this month, at least partially. So. Toby, as we do emerge from this, I mean, what are you doing? Are you doing anything online, or a lot of the musicians are doing shows on Facebook Live, or?
Yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of my musician friends are doing the online thing. I've done a couple of them.
I've seen a couple of yours.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird type of event, but you get through it. It's kind of strange sitting in a room
by yourself.
And as you guys know, with cameras and. But I did one for the Michigan Music Alliance as well, and that's been big. All those donations went to musicians who are out of work, and so I thought that was very cool. But yeah, it's a weird thing. Other than that, Kathy and I have been we put in our vegetable garden, and so we're taking care of things around the house. But yeah, we're trying to keep the music.
So she doesn't have a website for the vegetable garden, but do you have one for your?
Yeah, TobyBresnahan.com.
Okay, and you're gonna have to spell Bresnahan for everyone.
Bresnahan.
You had to double check to get it right, didn't you?
I had to think about that.
And
but I'm also in an Irish group called Pete and the Creole, and I want to give a shout out to those guys, Mike, Aiden, and Allison, and we'll get back together again. So we do the Irish thing, and I do solo stuff.
And kind of speaking of friends, I mean, I knew Jim years prior, but really that's 5 years ago. Then we became introduced. I think we'd seen each other a few times before, but and started enjoying your performances here as well. So
and I appreciate every one of those opportunities, and I miss them.
Yeah,
I miss coming here, but we're coming back.
Well, hey, we do want to keep this thing close to a half an hour each time. It is Friday. It is Friday night, and we're going to kick it here and finish the rest of these our glasses of liquid bread. But we want you all to keep safe and healthy during this time. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. And be sure to call 616-696-BEER. You can also, the next time you're in, don't be shy either. We've got a lot of this stuff that's kind of sitting out here. There's T-shirts and hats. We've got these Michigan beer puzzles, which are absolutely awesome. These things have been on back order. We haven't been able to get them. But we finally have these things back in stock. And you can pick these right up here in the tap room as well. Hats, T-shirts, gift cards, all this stuff supports. And if it's not us, please support another local brewery or restaurant.
Yes.
The local guys are the ones that are really having a tough time right now. They don't have the deep pockets or the public corporations to support them through this like some of the larger chains do, and they're the ones that really do keep those dollars in the community. So when you have a chance, please get out and do support local and go directly to them if you can. Avoid those third-party apps. We greatly appreciate the support here. We miss you all, and we'll see you the next time. Prost.
Prost.